So, 2020. What a year, am I right? Yeah, 2020. A lot of bad stuff happened, but then again, a lot of bad stuff happens every year. Because life is a torturous existence. One day, we'll all just be skeletons rotting in the ground. And on that note, let's talk about Hollywood award shows. Because really, what's more important to our existence as a society than that? The Golden Globes were like a week ago, and yeah, not a lot of great movies from 2020 because there weren't a lot of movies from 2020, period, for obvious reasons. But nonetheless, they still persevered and they had a self-congratulatory, masturbatory awards show, and it was pretty damn awkward.
I wish I could hear.
I'm gonna be completely honest, I didn't actually watch it on the night of. I only caught like highlight clips after the fact because I didn't even know that they were happening. Like, I know that the Golden Globes happens every year, but I didn't know they were happening that night. They just didn't market it well enough for, I guess, people that should care to know. And I mean, I don't personally really care about the Golden Globes because they're ultimately kind of pointless. But regardless, this whole substituting, award shows with these awkward Zoom call-ins, it doesn't work, guys. Can we not?
As you can see, we unfortunately have a bad connection. We apologize for that technical problem and send...
Like, I understand it's important to you guys to make yourselves feel important and, show off to the world how great the things you made were, but, like, read the fucking room, guys. People are dying. Can you, at least go 1 year without doing this shit? I get it. They want to have a sense of normalcy, but, it's clearly not normal. I mean, do you watch your own shit? You're having to compromise so many things to continue to put on this award show. And it's ultimately, what is really the point other than making celebrities feel good about themselves? I mean, these are the same people that are sitting in their mansions singing Imagine by John Lennon, and we're just supposed to automatically feel like, oh, you know what? I feel the worst for them. Not for my aunt who died of coronavirus, but I feel the worst for Gal Gadot. How is she gonna make it through all of this? I kind of went off on a tangent there, but let's get back to the Golden Globes. The Golden Globes in themselves are kind of pointless, like I said, because it's television and it's movies, and it's why are you doing both at the same time? The Emmys and the Oscars already exist, and I'm not sure if the Emmys predate the Golden Globes. I haven't done any research. I probably should, but I didn't because I'm just some random asshole with a camera. It's just kind of a confusing awards show. I think it wants to be the Oscars, but it's clearly not the Oscars. So... And it seems like at one point, the Golden Globes knew they were pointless, so they're like, how do we get people to watch this crappy award show that really no one cares about? Oh, let's get Ricky Gervais to come in and make some awful, edgy jokes to try and attract someone to watch this shit. And it kind of worked for a few years, but now it's basically just hey, you want to see who's probably going to win an Oscar? Go watch the Golden Globes. And 8 times out of 10, they kind of match up. So, I don't know. But like I said, in a world where both the Oscars and the Emmys exist, the Golden Globes, they're pretty superfluous. So speaking of the Oscars, that's the main reason I wanted to make this video. So let's talk about that shit. So because of the pandemic, the Oscars are essentially saying, hey, you can release your movie a couple months later than you normally would, so you can, qualify under our weird, stringent rules to be nominated, and then you can spend a bunch of money and send out magazines, or I guess digital ads. I don't know how they do it anymore. It used to be a magazine came in the mail and it was for your consideration, The Lion King for best visual effects or some other dumb bullshit. And then, whoever sent out the most of those things and spammed these Academy members the most had a pretty good chance of getting nominated and then winning, most likely. But is it an email thing now? How does that work? I mean, I'm not a celebrity, so I wouldn't know, but I don't know, it just seems the whole paper thing is so antiquated. So like I was saying earlier, there weren't a lot of movies in 2020, so our selection is kind of limited as to what the best movies of the year were. Looking at the roster of films that are in the short list for the Oscar nominations, you look at them and you're if this was any other year, most of these movies wouldn't even be considered, and people would be like, oh, this movie got snubbed. But this year, it's pretty much all we have, so we're just gonna go with it. The Oscars are probably the most egregious example of an award show where they just throw in way too much shit to try and pad out the runtime and justify putting on this lavish production and getting all these people in this giant room. They have all these like filler bits, and they get terrible hosts like Jimmy Kimmel to come in and just make the most awkward, unfunny jokes to try and, like, I guess they're using that time to move stuff around backstage and prepare for the next segment of the show, so they're basically killing time. But honestly, most people would be perfectly fine if you just sold more ad space and didn't fill up that extra time with, you know, whatever random shit you could think of that people don't want to watch. Like, oh, let's order a pizza. Hey, let's invite in these non-celebrities. Hey, let's go across the street to where a bunch of unsuspecting normies are watching a terrible movie, and let's give them giant hot dogs. Oh my god, there's candy falling from the sky. Oh my god, Jimmy Kimmel's lifting up a little kid like it's the Lion King, and it's really, really awkward. So there's too many bits. Too many bits, too much shit, and all these, you know, movie montages where they're just like, movies are a thing. Movies, don't you love movies? You know, honestly, that's not the most egregious example of filler. I'm fine with the movie montages because it's a movie awards show, but you do that like once, maybe twice, but you gotta space them out. And if you only do it once, do it towards the beginning of the show, and then don't do it again, because it just wastes time. And I know you have to kill time because it's a live presentation, but the audience doesn't want to suffer through this shit. So if you want to maintain audience and you want those numbers to start going back up in the ratings, cut some of that shit out. And the Oscars, I think they could actually take a page out of the Golden Globes book, where the Golden Globes, they have best drama and best comedy/musical. That latter of that is an abomination of a category, but it does exist and movies do win it. And at one point, Judd Apatow was proposing, hey, why don't we have a best comedy at the Oscars? And everyone's like, fuck you, get out of here, you asshole. And I mean, on one hand, it's Judd Apatow, so I wouldn't feel comfortable giving any of his movies an Academy Award. But on the other hand, he does have a good point. You do just nominate mostly dramas, and it's kind of crappy that movies that wouldn't normally get that chance don't have their own category that they could get that chance. It's why Best Animated Feature became its own category before Disney realized that they could just give themselves an award every single year, and that's basically what they do now. So why not have a category for comedy or best stunts, or I don't know, just maybe have each category have more than 5 fucking nominees aside from Best Picture? Because I think that's a big problem with, you know, everyone every single year has to complain, oh, this movie got snubbed, this movie didn't get nominated, but it should have. And it's like, on one hand, there is a percentage thing to where the Academy will only nominate like a certain amount of movies within a certain percentile of votes. And I get that. But like, why not widen that window so you can have like lower percentiles for, you know, 7 or 8 movies instead of just 5? Oh, because Hollywood people are lazy and they don't feel like watching more than just the 5 that get nominated. That's why. So if they were not lazy assholes, it would actually be more fair to movies that could get nominated. So it's all a mess. It's all just a bunch of Hollywood propaganda. It doesn't really matter. I mean, it kind of does matter. I mean, it doesn't matter to you and me because we're just everyday, average, normal Joes, but it kind of matters because you and I like to watch movies, and ultimately what gets people cast in high-profile movies other than being an Academy Award nominee or an Academy Award winner. I mean, there are two sides of the spectrum where you can continue to get great work and you just keep getting nominated and nominated until a point where you're an old woman and you've got like 35 nominations under your belt for a lot of movies that most people are just like, why? Or you do Catwoman. I didn't mean to do like women only for this example, but you know, but that is a thing, you know? You will see people more often in movies based on whether or not the Academy likes them. And it is sort of like a self-circle jerk thing among the Hollywood elite, but you know, they make the things that we watch, and ultimately who wins awards kind of dictates who will be in the things we watch. So that's kind of why people give a shit. I know a lot of people don't give a shit, but the people that do, they understand sort of how the game works and how that night each year will sort of affect how Hollywood will develop over the coming years. So, that being said, if you want people to actually pay attention and give a shit about stuff like that, make your award show less painful to sit through. And it is Disney, so they're probably not trying to be as transparent with that sort of politics stuff, but I don't know. At least they had the sense to make a best international feature category instead of best foreign language film or best foreign film, because that's where the Golden Globes are also fucking up. Which brings me to the main reason I wanted to make this video. Minari. I saw it on A24's website the other week. It was fantastic. In a year full of just okay movies, it was probably the best one I've seen, you know, from 2020, or like what we're considering, you know, that era of movies that are gonna get nominated. It was great, it was beautiful, it was simple, and it was kind of wholesome. So ultimately, I recommend it, and it's bullshit that the Golden Globes only nominated it for Best Foreign Language Film. It's an American movie. It was made in America by Americans. It takes place in America. It just happens that most of the dialogue is in Korean. So don't give it Best International Feature Film at the Oscars only, because that is some fucking xenophobic bullshit. But Greg, they gave Parasite both that and Best Picture last year. What are you complaining about? Well, that was last year. This is this year. And this year, we've got shit like Nomadland going up against it. And yeah, Nomadland was pretty good. I know people are like, you know, sucking it off really hard because I don't know why it struck a chord with so many people. It's a movie made, like, written and directed by and starring rich women, but it's about poor people, and it co-stars actual poor people. So all of a sudden we're supposed to like praise it as being the best thing ever for, you know, highlighting a part of society that you don't normally consider. But at the same time, it's also sort of hypocritical in its own existence. Everyone's considering that to be the front runner because we know how award season works, and it's kind of like the perfect Oscar bait movie. But I would really love if that didn't win Best Picture and we instead gave it to Minari. I'm probably butchering the pronunciation because I'm white as fuck, but the point being, it's a great movie. And I don't give a shit if they gave it to a Korean-speaking movie last year. You know, that one was from South Korea. That's one thing. And that was great that they gave Parasite all those awards, because it definitely deserved it. However, Minari also deserves it. In fact, I think it needs to happen. And honestly, I think the only way we can really, truly accomplish that is through bullying. And I know, normally, we shouldn't bully. And that's right, we should not normally bully people. However, these are rich people, and it's always fun to punch up. So as of right now, I'm starting the campaign to hashtag bully the Oscars into giving Minari Best Picture. I kind of wanted to simplify the hashtag, because if I did the full thing, it wouldn't be as catchy. But do all you can as normal individual citizens to bully the Academy of Motion Pictures and Sciences into giving Minari Best Picture. I know it's kind of weird to take such a wholesome movie and have a weirdly non-wholesome movement, but you know what? I don't care, because as much as they want to pretend like they're progressive, they're really not, and they really need to make up for Green Book a second time. So let's give Minari Best Picture so I don't have to, you know, punch some twerps. Trust me, I'm very strong. I'll do it. Look at all that muscle. Yeah, that's right. Talking about you little pipsqueak. Oh, I'm an Academy voter. I'm so unique and elite. Oh, I'm so cool. Fuck you, you little shithead. You should suck on my nipples. Yeah, that's what I think. And you know what you should also do is vote for Minari, because it deserves it. And if you don't, then you're a bitch. And you don't want everyone to think you're a bitch. So I'm not really good at bullying, honestly. I was usually on the other end of it. You think I would have picked up some pointers, but yeah, that's pretty much all I wanted to say. There wasn't really a focus or like a through line, except maybe let's just stop having these award shows so I don't have to make these dumbass videos. How about that? So elephant in the room, a lot of you are probably here because of that Kick-Ass 2 video that I made 3 years ago. It got a shitload of views recently, and now there's like actual people watching my channel. So if you're one of my new subscribers, thank you for subscribing. Stick around, I'm gonna have more essays like that. Not like completely like that, because that's honestly not one of my better videos. I'm kind of baffled that it blew up the way it did. So all you in the comments letting me know it's bad, I know. You don't have to keep telling me. I'm aware. But I've actually become part of the YouTube partner program now because of that. And I mean, the cruel irony is that video is demonetized because I used like a 40-second clip from the movie. So don't worry, I'm not making any money from that shitty video. But I have a lot of videos planned out for 2021, so stay tuned. There's a lot more coming your way through the tubes of the internet, into your eye holes, and out of your ear holes. I don't think that last part makes any sense. But yeah, I should have a video out by the end of the month. So until that happens, goodbye.